the hallmark of this conference is that you will be loved on today, okay? There's not another day or weekend in this year that you will feel loved and appreciated and valued and cherished. It shall happen here, I promise you. And I need you all to bring that same energy to the Facebook group. Just please and thank you. Those who know, know. All right. So we're going to try to get back on track because we have so much richness. I introduced her earlier, so I will bring back to the stage, and I'm going to make room for her, the amazing chair of the Haitian Roundtable, coming to us from New York, McSilver Institute, Madame Rosemonde, Pierre-Louis, our moderator, for the Engaging with Haiti panel. All right. Make a little bit more room for my sister, because that's what we do. We make room for our sisters. We open doors. That's right. We leave room at the table. And so, moving right along, also on this panel, an amazing powerhouse, and you should be reading their bios. I am going to bring forth Marguerite and Nicolas, one of the orchestrators of the newest organization called the Ayiti Community Trust, that had an amazing gala raising. I'll let her tell you how much money for the Haitian community and our beloved homeland. Marguerite and Nicolas. Bravo! Representing Fonkoze, we have an amazing powerhouse woman in the room with us, Marguerite Lathan. Another gala that I saw was amazing in Miami. Welcome. At the Biltmore. All right. And rounding up the cast is the founder and co-founder and CEO of Kreyol Essence, Yve-Car Momperousse. I made a pathway for you, sister. That's what I do. And so, and you can slim, pass on through. I'll put a little plug in for Yve-Car, as I love her and her products. The people who can see the shrinkage of my hair before and after the hairstylist, and amazed. All I did different this year is add Kreyol Essence to my wash and go and condition routine. So that's all I'm going to say. I can personally attest. Thank you, Yve-Car and Kreyol Essence. I will let you take it from here. Rosemonde.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Awesome. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Oh, no.
Exactly. No.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Passé.
Awesome. No, pas kana boule encore.
Okay.
No pas boule encore. No pas boule encore.
You can tell this is going to be a
Nabati.
Good. So it's great to be here. I want to thank the Haitian Ladies Network. I want to thank my dear friends, Karen, Andre. This is my first time here, and I am so inspired by the women I met yesterday at the embassy, and that event was incredible. And it was so nice to see it filled with Haitian women and greeting one another and reconnecting. And for me, I love the fact that the network continues to do the conversation around engaging in Haiti, because from year to year, that can be different. And I like the fact that we're having this conversation with women. For me personally, the one thing that has driven me crazy is that women's leadership has not been put in the forefront. And this organization is doing that by having these conversations. And Leonie, who I love and is someone who's inspired me throughout my career, just to build on what she said, it is also 2020, presidential year. No one is talking about their policies towards the Caribbean and Africa. So if you're involved in those races or you go to a town hall or something, that is a question that we should be asking. We should not elect anybody without knowing what their positions are with that.
Amen.
So I am here with this incredible, dynamic group of women that we're going to have this conversation, and also with our sisters in Haiti. Hello, we love you, and thank you so much for joining us. And all of you, we want this conversation to be interactive. The conversation around engaging Haiti, I think there's not a Haitian family or table during the holidays that does not have this conversation. And if you get some shivas, it might get rowdy, right? So it is something that is a conversation that you have generationally. It is a conversation that I personally have had in my household. I'm born in Ohio, raised on Long Island. Yes, there are Haitians in Ohio. Ohio, there are lots of Haitians in Cleveland, Ohio. But I'm very thankful that my parents instilled in me a pride about Haiti, a love of the culture, and you know, that 1804 is surging in me every day. So I know it surges in all of you. So for Guerda, Yve-Car, and for Marguerite, let's begin the conversation. So all of you are trailblazing women, dynamic, passionate in your careers, and also in the work that you've undertaken in Haiti. Can you share with the audience a bit about your journey with engaging in Haiti and currently what you are doing? So we'll start with you.
Okay. Bonjour tout le monde. Bonjour. Yes, good morning. It's so wonderful to see everyone. Thank you so much for the Haitian Ladies Network. We need to love on them. They're talking about loving on each other today. We need to love on these amazing group of ladies who are working so tirelessly to make us be here today. We owe them, we owe them a whole lot more, and we hold a responsibility so that we see the comments on the Facebook page. We will respond and say, let's just love them, you know, for what they've done. Thank you so much. I was born and raised.
I gotta see this Facebook page.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Go look at this.
Yeah, you do. You do have to take that. Yeah. I was born and raised in Tigouave, Grand Guave area. And I started there because it was never my intention ever to leave Haiti. In fact, I had no plans to ever leave Haiti. And it wasn't until my 16th birthday, my grandmother, who I was being raised with, told me that I needed to go to New York because my mother was deathly ill, and I may not get a chance to see her again. This may be my last chance, and I needed to go and see her. So I get on a plane, and for my first time getting on a plane, and I remember being on the American Airlines plane, and they served Coke in a can, and I didn't drink it. And when the person next to me said, "Why didn't you have the Coke?" I said, "I don't know what it is." And they said, "Well, what do you mean it's Coke?" I said, "Well, why is it hidden?" You know? Because I was used to the bottle. You can see what was clear. You know, it was clear that it was Coke. I say that because so I get to JFK, and at the time, if you remember, your family can go to the gate and come and get you. So I get to JFK to the gate, and there's my mother standing, healthy as can be, as a cow. And I didn't speak for 3 months. I didn't say a word to anybody for 3 months because I had felt duped and so forth. But my grandmother knew better, always. She always knew better. And she knew that this was the time for me to come to the States. And she knew that if I had the opportunity to do so and come and get an education in the way that I needed to be educated, she knew that I would always remember what my role was in Haiti. And so I say that because there are these women in our lives who oftentimes say things and we don't really get it and we don't understand it, but boy, are they right, right? And they're right in our lives. And so fast forward, obtained my PhD, the moment I got my PhD, I went back home. This year marks for me 26 years that I am in country once a month for 25 years. And I think for me, when you say, what is it about, like what has been the journey has been for me to figure out what role do I play in a country that has been pivotal. It's like the central element of my life. I say to people every single time, the reason that I am who I am, I think the way I think, I am as humanitarian as I can be, is because I was born in a country called Haiti. Yes. Therefore, I have a debt to pay to that land that served me so well, that allowed me to be where I am today. And so it's been a journey, you know, and for me in the last, like I said, I'm there once a month. I don't miss it. Anywhere I go, I was a professor at Boston College. When I was recruited to Boston College, I said that I only have one condition. I don't care what's happening at BC. I'm in country once a month, right? I got recruited to UM. I said, I don't care what's going on at UM. I'm in country once a month. That's just my only condition. Everything else, you know, matter. And I do think it is important. This time is right. And when Karen and Leonie are talking about this morning about what is our role, what are some of the things that we need to do, this is the time. IT is a graveyard of projects. It needs to end now. And we need to start thinking about what are the mechanisms that we have in place to be able to do that in a way that is effective. And I'm so excited to be here and get a chance to share with you, from my perspective, lots of perspectives about how can we engage in Haiti in a way that's going to be meaningful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Bonjour.
Bonjour tout le monde.
Is your mic on?
C'est Yve-Car, Momperousse. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Et c'est vraiment un plaisir pour moi avec nous tout jeudi. I feel like even though I'm supposed to provide inspiration, I'm probably going to be getting more inspiration from seeing all of your beautiful faces here today. As Karen and Rosemonde have said, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kreyol. We bring natural and organic beauty products from Haiti to the world. I actually almost forgot where my journey started with Haiti until I was talking to Sonelli in the breakfast area, where she said, do you remember where we know each other? And I'm like, I cannot place it. And she said, we were part of the Haitian student organization together about 16, 17 years ago. And she said, and we were planning the National Haitian Student Conference, and you were on the national side, and it was happening in Florida as part of the 8th annual conference, which also led me to think, oh my God, I was part of the National Haitian Student Alliance and starting the conference from its 4th year, where we would gather thousands of students, politicians, and anyone who had any interest in Haiti to come together through different universities in every state. And I thought about it, but also how far back it goes, that love for Haiti. And it started as a student, and it started in my self-discovery. When I wanted to know who I was as a person, there was no way not to link to my culture. And I remember something my dad did when we were growing up. So I was born in Brooklyn, second Haiti, right? New York là, of course. Mais chaque année, ou obligé à aller à Haïti. Pas de question sur ça. And I remember one vacation, we're in Haiti, pas d'électricité. Nous commençons plein. Why are we here? I'm tired, I'm hot, I want to go home. I mean, we had all the complaints in the world. I have 4 siblings. And my dad said, okay, I'm going to take you guys out. I'm like, yes, we're going to the beach. We're going to my cousin's house. We're going somewhere great. And my dad took us to, I never asked him, I can't remember the name of the place. But when I got there were kids playing, and they were playing with Labu. And he said, bon, c'est la map quitte nous. And I was like, excuse me? My sister starts crying, and I'm trying to process and negotiate with him. Like, I don't understand. You don't have to leave us here. We're sorry that we complained. It's fine. Everything is fine at home. And then I saw one of the kids playing, and I said, wait a minute. Oh, and I'm like, okay, wait, we can't leave. What about her? And what about him? We have to take everybody with us. And my dad was like, that's not what I planned to have happen. No, we cannot take everyone home with us. But that stayed with me that, one, we are so blessed, and we need to be so grateful for the things that we have, right? And it's very easy to forget, because you can always look at somebody who has more. But the second thing that experience reminded me is that my country, my people, if she bleeds, I bleed. If she's hurting, I'm hurting. And that instilled a sense in me that when I see someone in pain, when I see someone who needs something, and also when I see someone winning, that it also is a part of me. And that's been part of the journey through everything that I've done within my community, from the National Haitian Student Conference to working as, at New Jersey Immigration Policy Network. Yes, I was in Jersey too. I'm a Jersey girl as well. Rutgers, I heard there were some Jersey people here. Yes, you see there's a few folks there. And my job at New Jersey Immigration Policy Network was as the project coordinator. The Blanc said, here's your budget, just figure out what's going on with the community here in Haiti and see how you can help. And through every job that I've had, which has been around problem solving, connecting with Haiti and figuring out how do we do something that's sustainable? How do we leave projects? I also worked, at the University of Pennsylvania. We have one of the #1, universities in the country, but that also focuses on education. And I worked on projects with the Ministry of Education in Haiti. But time and time again, what I learned that nothing lasts, nothing was sustainable, which is what brings me to where I am currently, which is to think about how do we use business as a catalyst for true change, and so that it's self-sustaining. And that's what Kreyol Essence is all about. That's what brought me to this journey, is to think about how do we own our destiny? How do we take the richness of our country and really share it around the world? And how do we make sure that it's economically self-sufficient so that we are creating work? The biggest lesson I've learned over the years in my journey, and what we'll discuss, is that most of the problems that I looked at, si c'est éducation, si c'est santé, no matter where I went, the economic need, the base, always had some fundamental financial challenge. So there's so many issues that I'm passionate about and that we need to address in Haiti, but Maslow's hierarchy of need, as the Blanc would say, sou pas qu'à manger, okay? So there's no way you can start to think about education. That's when we start getting into high-class problems, But you have to be able to eat and be healthy first, and a lot of times that comes from having some source of income that is stable. And that's what I'm excited to talk to you guys about today from that perspective.
Alors, tout le monde qui est en Haïti, qui l'a cap gardé nous, moi je voulais encourager nous, n'a prié pour nous, parce que je connais un paquet de monde qui a gardé nous là. Bienvenue. And to all of you, thank you so much, Haitian Ladies Network, for allowing us to be here, first of all, for allowing to gather this sisterhood of women who are just giving so much back. So I really would love for you to take a pledge, just today, take a pledge to really put a seed in Haiti, a figurative seed, something that we're going to give back to our country. We know we're going to give back, but make the choice, make the pledge now. Emotionally, mentally, think about it. All of us are here right now. My journey, oh my goodness. We left Haiti and emigrated to Canada, to Montreal. Yeah. And then we moved to Brooklyn.
Of course. Yeah. We all go to Brooklyn. That's where it is, Brooklyn.
Then we moved to Queens.
Yep, I lived in Queens too. Yep.
And then I finished high school in Queens, got married, moved to DC, went to AU, dropped out of AU, and then started modeling back in New York, got a divorce, and modeled, got married, and divorced again, and then finally met my third husband, and then we live in Los Angeles now with a blended family of 5 children. So, love it. So we have 5 kids, 4 daughters and 1 son. I gave birth to 3. The youngest is 21, 22, and then I have 2 in their 30s and 2 in their 40s. So I have the gamut.
Beautiful.
Everybody. And I have 2 grandsons whom I adore. I have 2 grandsons whom I adore, and they live in Los Angeles. So the whole family is in LA. My journey with Haiti, back to Haiti, began after the earthquake in May of 2010. And I saw the destruction. I went back with a group of African-American psychologists, and we were trying to figure out what we could do to help with the Haitian University, the University of Haiti.
Speak up into
Peut-être que this, can you hear me though? Can you hear me?
Just speak up.
Okay, d'accord, chérie. I'll try to. How do you make it louder?
Vous parlez plus fort.
Parler plus fort?
Oui.
So that project did not really work very well, but I came back, I found out, someone reached out to me about Fonkoze. So when they came to me with Fonkoze, I said, I don't know, because I really want to be part of an organization that's going to be transparent and sound. So I did all my research, I did my due diligence, I checked out, I called everybody in Haiti, in Canada, in France, and everybody came back with one thing, that Fonkoze was one of the largest microfinance organizations in Haiti, and that it was transparent, and I looked for their financial reports, and then I said, okay. I went to Haiti with Fonkoze, and I fell in love. I was already in love with Haiti because c'est pays moi, Haiti. Mais Fonkoze, that was like, oh my God. Fonkoze seduced me. So I went on trips around the country with the clients of Fonkoze. And when I spoke to one of the women of Fonkoze, one of their clients, non, côté, non, je crois que c'est, côté le théâtre, quoi. Bon, mi balai.
T'es en dehors.
En dehors, chérie. Et puis il dit, moi, je dis, quelle différence qu'on y a, alors? When you first started with Fonkoze, and then right now you graduated from the CLM program, which is the Chemin la Vie Meilleure program, which is the Path to a Better Life program. And then she said, eh bien, là, m'te fait commencer, famille moi, pas aider du tout. They didn't care about her, they didn't invite her to weddings, they didn't invite her to anything, because she was living in a shack with the kids, she was abandoned by her husband, whoever it was that she was living with, that was the father of her kids. She was begging, and then she said, Kounya, yon invite m nan baptême, yon invite m nan mariage, yon invite m à l'école. She has a business, and she's a micro-entrepreneur. So that's when I said, okay. And Fonkoze is one of the country's largest, it gives loans, but microloans, to women who have complete destruction. And we are partners with Partners in Health and Zami La Santé. So we have lots of partners in Haiti, and I am just in love with this organization. So if any of you are interested in just being part of all of us, please come. We have ProDev, we have all of the organizations. So yeah, so make that pledge. We have so many organizations in Haiti that are really doing the work on the ground. So do it.
Great.
Merci.
So now I really want to delve in a little bit more in terms of the work that you're doing through your companies and your organization. So Guerda, I know there's a lot of excitement about the organization that you are a co-founder of, which is the Haiti Community Trust. So can you tell us about, can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry, so we're gonna talk about the Haiti Community Trust, which Guerda is the co-founder of. And can you just tell us about the mission? Are you giving grants? And I'm sure everyone's now asking, what's the process to get a grant if you're doing work in Haiti?
Absolutely. Thank you. So Ayiti Community Trust, let me just say, first of all, we are calling it Ayiti because Ayiti is our name. Yeah. And so this is an opportunity for us to reclaim. I feel like a little bit like, Maxi Waters. We're going to reclaim Ayiti, because Ayiti is our indigenous name. It means mountainous land, and that's an important part. I say that because the Ayiti Community Trust is built on a model and an asset model. That means we are celebrating the goodness and the contributions of Ayiti while recognizing its challenges, right? And so you will not see us putting out images that shows Ayiti in any different way, because part of our vision is about changing the narrative of Ayiti. Right. And the work came about for me, after about 15 years as a psychologist. I'm a child and family psychologist. I spent 8 years at l'Hôpital Justinien. I spent working with and doing integrative mental health. Zami La Santé Loon is, that's our group in terms of making sure that mental health is being addressed. Been involved in a lot of different projects throughout the country. Part of going to Haiti allows you the opportunity to understand the country and recognize the diversity that exists in the country, right, as well. And during the course of doing that work, I began to ask myself, what is the legacy? What is it that we really want to leave behind, right? That we can continue to have projects, as you were indicating, and then the grant projects are over, and then it's done. People packed up and they leave. What are we doing that can be more sustainable? So I spent a significant amount of time then going to the mountains of the country and traveling to say, if we were to do something in country, if we were to think about 3 main pillars, tout kay besoin 3 pitons pour yo camper, vraiment. If we can créer un bagay en un pays, what 3 pillars could it really focus on? Can we ask the people, not in the city, but in the mountaintops, right? What would that look like? Out of that came these pillars of how important it was to focus on the environment, because by focusing on the environment, it allows us to focus on water, it allows us to focus on forestation, it allows us to focus on health, it allows us to focus on an array of different things, right? So that the environment became really, really important out of that conversation. The other one is exactly what you just mentioned, how important the ability for one to be able to work is. Business is central to that. I must be able to sell my stuff, right, and be able to feed my family and put them to school and be able to pay for the Mirabella Hospital when I go for health. For that to happen, entrepreneurship is central. We cannot continue for people to wait to give me something that I need the opportunity to create for myself. So the second pillar of Ayiti Community Trust is the entrepreneurship place. The third one is what we heard throughout the country, which is the importance of civic education. You have got to love. You got to love the land. You got to love the community in which you're in. You have to take a responsibility socially to want to see it in another level. So Ayiti Community Trust is birthed out of the conversations with these individuals in country around these particular pillars. Then we took those pillars and said, well, do we create an organization? What would that look like? In my work, there are a number of foundations that come and do work in country, right? So you have a number of them who come and they support organizations, but then they leave. Or they're only supporting organizations who meet a particular threshold, which means the little organizations that Fonkoze is funding may not be applicable to those large organizations to be able to support it. But in fact, they are the organizations who are doing the most amazing work in their communities. But they may not necessarily have access to the fund. So then we sought to create a community foundation that is registered in country, that does grant making only in country, right? 2 organizations in these 3 pillars, right, in the country. But we wanted to make sure that that the work, a foundation work, could be sustainable. So we spent a good amount of time. Haiti Community Trust seems new to many people who's hearing about it. This is a 15 years in the making program that we started. Because once you create it, I traveled the Caribbean to understand foundations. I went to Brazil to understand community foundations. I went to Africa to understand community foundations. Does it make sense? What would it take for us in Haiti to have a community foundation that will be sustainable, that will be beyond me, right? And so the idea of the endowment fund become really, really crucial. The reality for us right now is if you gave me $1 million to spend in Haiti, I guarantee you I can spend it in Haiti within about a month, and that's being really generous. I can spend it in about a month, and it will be gone, right? And so how do we build something that could be much more sustainable? The endowment fund allows us to take the $1 million that could be given, we invest that fund, and then we use the yield of that fund to support organizations in country. You follow me? Yeah. Hey! Hey. Right? And so that is absolutely crucial because right now, we have a fatigue. We have donors fatigue. They're getting tired, right, of donating in the country. That's number one. Remittances are high. But you know why remittances are high? Because you and I have a cousin or uncle. Your parent says we got to send some money because there's a nephew and a cousin, right, and so forth. I worry about what would that look like for my kids and my grandkids. Will they send money in about 20 years? That remittance will go down, right? Unless we find a way to engage in a way that's going to be sustainable for the long run. But Haiti doesn't have an investment portfolio for us to invest the fund. And so we partnered with the Miami Foundation that is celebrating its 52 years anniversary, also on an endowment model as well. So they incubate the Haiti Community Trust Fund. So when people provide the fund to Haiti Community Trust, they pas venir dans mes Guerda, okay? M'a pas l'aucun côté m'a en vacances, m'a manger, faut manger. Bagay la aller directement avec Miami Foundation, right? Miami Foundation, li même prend comme là, li investe comme là pour Haiti Community Trust, qui permettent nous-mêmes pour nous joindre yield de fonds, qui permettent nous pour nous faire organisation en Haïti plus. It allows us to support and fund organizations in country more. But because you're building an endowment, right? The sexiness of Haiti Community Trust is the endowment. Let's be really clear. That is the innovative aspects of this, is that how do we build something that where your grandkids will still be able to have something that they call some Haiti Community Trust, right? And so that is essential for us, but it means about building the endowment. We have an initial goal of $20 million for this endowment. That is our focus for the next 5 years. The more fund that is in the endowment, the more it yields, the more organizations we can support. Right? Right? So we in addition to that, I say the board decided, we have an amazing board. I want to recognize Nicolas, who joined us at Haiti Community Trust as our executive director, Yve-Car, who's our major staff person as well there. We have an amazing board. Maryse is on the board. Vice chair of the board is Maryse, is here as well. We have an amazing board of directors. I only get to speak here because, you know, I don't know, Ariel like me, you know. But anybody on that board could have really been here to talk a little bit about Haiti Community Trust. The board decided that we wanted to focus our initial work on water and to do our initial grant making in water. And the reason for that is because if you know very well in Haiti, access to water is a problem. And most of the people who are accessing water, who's working really hard to go and get water, are girls who are spending a significant amount of their time to be able to do that. And so and the idea of water is not to produce potable water, is how do we create piping, how do we create infrastructure in a town that allows everybody to get access to water in a particular way. And that has been our initial focus in country in the last year, in addition to partnering with individuals like Shayna, you know, who's doing amazing work with Nathalie Tancred, right? And this woman who decided to live in an abusive relationship and start doing this heart-shaped whack. How does Ayiti Community Trust partner with Shayna and make sure that for every event that we host, we buy from Shayna that allows Shayna to be able to have a business in a way that's meaningful way? Lots of great things that we can do, right? So thank you so much for that.
Oh, okay.
Shayna Leogan. If you want heart shape, talk to Nathalie. Yeah, heart shape rock, they're beautiful.
So I could say for the Haitian Roundtable, we have 2,000 of these rocks that are heart shaped. I actually have them on my bedside. So Yve-Car,
Yes.
Kreyol Essence, which it gives me so much joy when I walk into Whole Foods. And even if I'm not going into the beauty section, I'm like, let me leave the kale alone and let me go say hi to Kreyol Essence. It's so incredible that you were there, and it gives us such pride to see something that uses the word Kreyol in such a mainstay American type of institution. So you've created this tremendous social enterprise, which as its core is about not only investing in Haiti, but in creating employment opportunities. So can you talk and share with the audience about that process?
Sure. So because one of the things that I get asked a lot is how did I start the business, I'm going to quickly go through that. I started Kreyol Essence after having what I call a hair catastrophe. Anybody ever have one of those? Okay, all right, so I'm in good company. I was going to an event and I wanted to look my best because I was in the market for a husband. Does anybody know what that's like? Okay, all right? So it's like, gotta get on it. And I went to my hairdresser, I have my big fro, you know, I needed it sleek and straight. And she did an amazing job, so good. I found the husband, Stéphane Jean-Baptiste, some of you know him. He's also my co-founder. But what happened the next day is when I washed my hair, it all fell out.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So the first thing I did was, what did I do?
Where's the mama?
Okay. I cried first.
Oh,
okay, you gotta cry, you just lost your hair. Yeah. And then I called mom. And I said to her, you know, what is it? And she's like, l'huile mascriti. And I'm like, okay, bon, no problem. I'm in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, there's plenty of, you know, people of color, Haitian folks, I should be able to find it. Unfortunately, when I looked on shelves, I found things with hexane, bleach, other additives. Castor oil, as they call it, qui blanc, qui raffiné. The other thing is there were other types of oils, other countries, but it wasn't the real thing. So I called her back and I was like, Mom, can you send me some of the l'huile mascriti? And she's like, and I'm like, you're my mom, I'm in an emergency here. Why aren't you sending this to me? So, okay, finally I get her to send it. And you understand what it is. So she sends it to me from what I call her Haiti stash, and it's in a rum bamboku bottle. So it doesn't leak. It's gold in there. So I looked at it and I said, why don't I start a business out of this? Now, I was joking. See, don't mess around with the Haitian mom. We saw one earlier today. You can't mess around with her. And she said, actually, that's a really good idea. Now, I was in the School of Government. I was going to go about my government path or find my business husband and just kind of go about my world. And then we started to think about the supply chain, right? In order to make mascriti, you need the seeds. Yeah. And in order to get the seeds, you have to work with farmers. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's interesting. I remember my mom saying that, you know, agriculture was the mainstay of the country, now it's decimated. I was like, could a business actually help revitalize an agricultural industry? All right, that's pretty cool. We're going back to organic and farming. That makes sense. Then we thought about, okay, so who makes l'huile mascuti? Who makes l'huile mascuti? Haitian women.
Yeah.
Haitian women are the one who make l'huile mascuti. So to think about it, women are also the ones who are the potomitan. They're the ones taking care of the household, but they're also the most vulnerable financially, physically, because they don't have income and resources. So, okay, we could work with primarily women for something that they do better than anyone else anyway. All right. And then thinking about it, you know, putting the nerd hat on, well, the country needs to export, right? That's how a country's GDP grows. We keep importing in Haiti. We need something that we can add value, that we can export. And I was like, all right, we'd have to export this. The market I know is the US market, you know, the Canadian market, North America, that's where we can go. And then my husband, he is a fanatic of telling stories, and he is absolutely obsessed with changing the narrative around Haiti. Well, when you start talking about beauty products, you're not talking about flies, you're not talking about poverty, you're talking about the beauty of a woman, of a man, and of a country. So that all together, plus the fact that, come see, I have an expensive habit when it comes to beauty products, hair products. If it works for natural hair, I want it. I said, at least now I can put that as a business expense. So that's how, okay, got to think about the finances. And together, that is how Kreyol Essence was born. And what I think is really important throughout that is, the first thing I did was call my mom as I'm talking to her, and I said, okay, let's do it. And the first thing we had to do was just jump on a plane, because I don't know how to make l'huile mascuti. I don't know, you know, the first thing about it. And the first step was going to in country and sitting at the feet of women and creating a relationship and learning. So very often, and especially from my past trips, you know, with, you know, the blood, the NGOs, the this and that, you know, we're coming in with some sort of a savior complex. We're here to teach. But no, now I needed to sit there and learn because I don't know anything about this. And that was a humbling and also really good experience for how Kreyol Essence began. And then the next thing was, okay? We met with farmers, we met with producers, gaining that trust and really understanding how to make the product. But after, you know, I took my gallon of oil. There was no NGO, there was nothing of that. It was my savings that we started with. And then you pray that no one, you know, figures it out. And what Stefan did, he created a ticket, and we're like, let's see if anybody else actually wants l'huile mascuti. So we put it in the bottle, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with HRA, Haiti Renewal Alliance, with Magali and Furman Backer. Is Magali there? Oh, no, okay, you guys are, she's not here? Okay, she's in Geneva. So, and I had started going to these conferences that were here in DC, and it was the first time I was understanding what social entrepreneurship meant. Because there was no language yet to understand that I wanted to move from the nonprofit, you know, giving aid, because I saw that wasn't working, to how do we move to a more sustainable model? And that's when I was exposed to social entrepreneurship by our own who were putting together this conference. So, ti bouteille mwen nan valise la petite, et puis take it out, and we're showing it to folks. So now in the business world, it's what they would call, you know, proof of concept. It's in your early iterations, and you're really having your discovery discussions to see if anybody wants it. So we're at the conference, we're showing castor oil, child. We're asking folks, do they want it? And then just to see our community light up and engage, I said, I think we're on to something. And then also to see the ideas that came out of it. And I'm not talking about ideas that where you're kind of rolling your eyes, you're like, okay. But real ideas that of folks saying, hey, do you know that when you plant mascuti, that it helps with soil erosion? No, I had no idea about that. Hey, do you know that, you know, when you plant the mascuti, that can actually help with deforestation because it's a cash crop. The likelihood of someone cutting it down is going to be less because l'irrentable, okay? It's not one of those things, plant trees and it's good to do when I'm hungry. But if I can make money out of it because you're going to buy a couple of kilograms, ou bien pas ma meat, because, you know, we're not in kilograms and all that stuff. C'est pas ma meat ou acheter grain. All these different things. It's almost like a community sort of cohort coming in and giving ideas for how we can use impact through this business model. And that has been the journey throughout Kreyol Essence. So that's a little bit about, things that we weren't aware of, but that we learned we can have an impact on the environment. Then we again started talking about women. We have a hybrid model where we work with both co-ops, and we've also run our own facility. And I remember the first time that it was hard, things are not going as they should, and we were hiring something like 100 women to be in the facility, and part of the interview process, and I was actually really wondering, why do you want to work for Kreyol Essence? A lot of the women, they had their own businesses. And there's a bit of this fallacy that all Haitians are entrepreneurs. That is survival, okay? It's one thing to be an entrepreneur and know you want to create a business. It's another thing to hustle because you've got to feed kids. And we need to understand that difference. So when I asked the women, ou qui sont d'arriver travailler avec moi, ou déjà gen commerce pa, ou gen va faire plus kob l'autre côté, Madame Yve-Car. OK? Ou kon sa besoin kounyen, besoin pour me passer temps avec ti moun. OK? Si m'nan marché, si m'a travail, si m'oblige lever grand matin pour mal travail, si moun nan kou kont nan la kaeli, m'pa gen contrôle li. And then when you hear stories about women who are at the marché or at the marketplace who get robbed, who can get raped, depending on where they are. So all of a sudden, this glamorous vision that everyone was talking about, that everyone in Haiti needs to be an entrepreneur, that started, I had to sit there and think about that and think about what is the value also of creating work and having infrastructures and having companies. Because we know here in the United States, 80% of the economy is made by small businesses. And we are in a country that has pretty much none. So to sit there and talk to the women around the fact that, they need secure work so that they know that they could pay for their kids' schools, we were like, all right, that means it was a nod to know, keep going, even though it's not perfect, even though there's, it's kind of sloppy. If you saw where we are, I have to show you photos. And we're all on the floor, all of us, right? Grenade, we had to start off with charbon, and in order to make the l'huile masquiti, but it was the beginning of just proving that this could work. The next thing is, after you need to export. Well, guess what? There isn't a manual that tells you how to export out of Haiti, unfortunately, and who you can trust. So going through those lessons and being able to work with folks to ask questions and to figure out how do we export out of country legally and make sure that we can enter the country with the product was also a process. But also what we're proud of that we're seeing is that also spurred others to feel like, okay, I can export out of country. Okay, I can create a business where my goods has value. And I have to say, getting to that Whole Foods shelf, part of it was because I was spending most of my time in Haiti, I literally, Stefan would say, come visit when you can, and that's a whole nother conversation around the sacrifices that you make for your relationships and in your household when you are focusing on your community. And, when we were having trouble, we're not selling, all my time is being spent on supply chain, which is important, and then became the beckoning where, okay, some of the initial investors that we had, they're starting to think, well, what's happening here? I don't see sales. I don't think this is happening fast enough. There's like all this pressure because the other thing is we want to save Haiti and we want to save it now. And if it doesn't happen in 6 months, then something is wrong. And that's another lesson I think we all have to learn is that you have to pace yourself. This is a long-term game. Every step is crucial if you want it to last, and it is slower than you actually think it's going to be, but that's because we're dealing with complicated situations. So I get back to the States, and I'm trying to figure out, all right, we're running out of cash here. I have these women that I need to make sure stay employed. We have a facility here. How are we going to really kick it off a notch? And so at Whole Foods was one of the targets. 2 different people I sent to go talk to folks. They all came back with no's. I was like, all right, I got to do this myself. So I start going into a Whole Foods, and I'm asking questions. I visited literally 80 Whole Food markets by myself. I did my own little tour of going in with my basket of l'huile masquiti, telling our story, and also having them smell the different variations we have. If you don't know, you'll know tomorrow. Lavender, chocolate. You know, we're elevating our game with our products from Haiti. And finally, we're fatigué, feeling very much like I just want to just stop and just call it quits. Well, I tried. And there's I walked down the aisle of a Whole Foods store because my mom invited me to lunch because she knew I was feeling super discouraged and I was ready to call it quits. And she actually, it was cute, she was like, oh, je m'entendais parler d'un côté qui relait Whole Foods. And I'm like, yes, Mom, I've heard of Whole Foods. Eh bien, on a mangé, puis on a parlé, and all that stuff. Great. And I walk, because I'm also obsessed with, you know, finding good beauty products, I walk down the aisle like I usually do, and I see a substandard, as I will call it, l'huile mascriti. We've been turned down 2 or 3 times, and here it is, this is not right. So I asked to speak to the buyer, and yo dit, li pa la kounye, on gen va tourner in an hour or so. Okay, l'huile mascriti me toujou pre nan valiz mwen. And I come back and I sit on the floor with the buyer. She's stocking shelves. I'm stocking shelves with her. And I'm telling her our story. She smells our product. She feels it. She's like, you're in. I'm like, we're in? You're in. And she's like, this is the first store you're in, but it won't be the last. I'm going to go through the process with you because this company is why Whole Foods exists. And this product, you know, is something, thank you. This product is something also that our community needs. And that's the other part of Kreyol Essence. And when you think about what Haiti can add for someone, women of color disproportionately, our products, a study found 80% of our products have hormone-disrupting chemicals in them. Okay? So when you think about also, just from a larger perspective of here in the States and Canada and around the world, making sure women of color are using hair and skincare products that are good for them, that is also something else that Haiti is helping to solve, and that starts to put the country in a different light. So there's a couple of other things that we're working on this year, but that's how we got to Whole Foods, and our community also, when we needed to scale, we started an email campaign, and let me tell you, after the buyers were done getting emails from many of our customers, our tribe, I call it, they were just like, you can tell them to stop now. We'll do it. We'll take you from those 50 stores to 350 nationally, and that's because of you all.
Thank you.
Woo!
I'm going to ask this final question to Marguerite because I know that we want to open it up to the floor for Q&A because I know some of the women in the audience and I'm sure you have lots of questions. So Fonkoze, an organization, as you know, that I love, and I think, Guerda, you brought up a good point. I think one of the most important things that we can do as Haitians is that when people ask us what organizations to give to, they always want to give to the American, more well-known organizations and not understanding, as you said, they come and they go. If there's one thing that we can do is know the names of the organizations that are indigenous to Haiti, that are doing the work on the ground, and to also encourage funders, grant makers, to also support those organizations. Fonkoze, I think, is tremendous. It harnesses the power of our brothers and sisters. So can you talk about, rather quickly, about the impact of the services that Fonkoze has provided?
Well, it's interesting about what's interesting about Fonkoze is that it does alleviate poverty, and that's one of its goals, is to eliminate poverty in Haiti. It's a colossal goal, but this is the goal that they have, and that's one of the reasons I'm with Fonkoze, because it's been in Haiti for 25 years and has been eroding poverty little by little in its path. We have several programs. We have the Chemin la Vie Meilleure, which is the one I love, which is the one that is for the graduation program, which for 18 months a woman is enrolled in that program and is accompanied by a caseworker who visits her in her village in Olaku and gives her 2 assets, a house that she can live in with a tin roof, and education, which is the most important thing, because they have to learn how to budget, they have to learn the business skills, they have to get knowledge about how to become an entrepreneur. Because là, ils fait commencer, ils pas connaissent rien du tout. They are completely on their last life. So when Fonkoze comes into their communities, they learn about becoming an entrepreneur. And they do not become an entrepreneur until after they graduate from the program. Then that's when they learn how to really build and continue to build an asset and learn about entrepreneurship. The other programs, there's one that began, it's called Boutique La Santé. As you know, pharmacies are about 2 hours away from a nearby village. So this Boutique La Santé is the kind of, it's a healthcare entrepreneur so it's a woman who isn't a micro-entrepreneur, who is interested in making more money. So she has a pharmacy, which is a non-prescribed pharmacy, in her house, in her village. So the woman who lives next door can just come to her house and get Tylenol for a baby who has a fever. Nothing that's prescription. It's over-the-counter stuff that she carries. She carries healthcare products. She carries sanitation products. She carries peanut butter stuff for malnutrition. So this woman can have a little boutique santé in her house, and the woman in the village can just come and not walk an hour to get to a pharmacy. So that is about 1 million households are being serviced by this Boutique La Santé. Boutique Santé, which I love. The other thing that Fonkoze does is that it's a bank, so it's 3 organizations. It's the USA board that I'm on. We get money from the US and send to the foundation, which has all the programs in Haiti. And then there's the bank. But what bank do you know sends case workers and accompanies women and teach them how to learn about budget and finance? Only Fonkoze does that. Mm-hmm. Because a woman with a basket of live chickens, avec on marche, après rentrer dans la banque, il ne peut pas même quitter le passé devant la banque. The security guard will stop you. Quand on aller, madame, ça va le faire. Besoin d'argent. And then, first of all, if you don't have any assets, you can't ask for a loan. So you have to have an asset. You have to have things that you're showing them. It's like, if you don't have anything, they won't give you a loan. So Fonkoze does that. And we have 44 branches throughout Haiti, from Okai all the way to Okap. So it's like from Jérémy to Okap, so all over. So that's the reason why I'm involved with Fonkoze, and I just will never leave it. I am an ambassador for life.
So I believe we're going to open it up for question and answers. And I'll ask one final question to wrap up the program. Please walk to a microphone. Is it on?
Is it on?
I don't think it's on.
Voila. Do testing.
The mic's not working.
Hold on, give it a minute.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hi, ladies. First of all, thank you oh, hi.
Hi, speak up louder so everybody can hear you.
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, thank you so much for putting on this panel. This has been very inspiring, very encouraging. So I want to applaud you for the work that you've been doing and also for being here and sharing it with us. My name is Jean. Well, my Haitian name is Beatrice Dubos. And I'm from the DMV. I know we didn't say DMV, but the DMV is my house. Particularly, my question is towards Ms. Nicolas. You'd mentioned that the community trust partners with the Miami Foundation and that you do an endowment, but a couple of questions just popped in my head automatically was, what are the funding strategies? What are the checks and balances? And how do we ensure that these funds are invested properly and get the yield that you want, the sustainability of that funding strategy?
Great question. Thank you so much for the question. Let me put can you hear me? I don't even need a mic. Yeah, it's like if you're a church girl, you know. But thank you so much for that question. So we really spent a significant amount of time really looking at a number of foundations to really take a look at what this portfolio looks like in terms of being able to invest the fund. We meet with the with investors to get a sense of how is our fund invested. The great news for us in terms of the Miami Foundation is that, and I should tell you, we went to the Miami Foundation. Javier Soto was the CEO at the time for the Miami Foundation. And when we started out, there was a woman in Miami who came to us with a check for $60 and said, I'd like to contribute to the future of Haiti. And we took our $60 to the Miami Foundation. We'd like to open the account with our $60 check. And the reason that's really cool for us is that part of that ability for us to invest with that portfolio pool, it allows our yield to be larger than if they were only to invest just our fund. So our fund gets to be put in a larger basket, right? That allows us to be able to have a larger yield. What we've been able to do in terms of our own sustainability is to also create the 501c3 for Haiti Community Trust here in country as well, that allow us, when we're looking at ourselves 5 to so years, that we will have our own investors, right, moving forward. But this is also an issue about trust and credibility. Mm-hmm. The Miami Foundation is trusted and is credible. And people understand that if, in fact, you are investing the fund, they know where it's going and how it's being invested, right? And we need to build that trust, right, with the larger community so that in 5 to 10 years, we are having our own investors, right, to be able to do that as well. Thank you so much for the question.
Thank you. So we have 15 minutes left, so I want to make sure that we get as many questions as possible, and so if responses could be tight.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to everyone on the panel. Thank you so much. My name is Vanessa Joseph, and I'm from Miami. I'm the loudest one in the Miami delegation, actually, so congratulations, y'all on screaming. I have, small connections with at least most of the organizations on the panel. Of course, with Ayiti Community Trust, I'm a huge supporter. I wear your products, and I interned with Fonkoze when I was in grad school. So it's great to see all of you together. In the midst of what's happening right now in Haiti, I think for people who aren't as used to going to Haiti as some of us are and not used to these conditions, we have a tendency to become a little bit afraid. We become discouraged, and then we end up becoming apathetic to the idea of doing anything in Haiti. And for some of us, like Tati Leonie had said earlier, it causes us to revert to the words of our parents and the generations before us. So I'd appreciate it if each one of you could actually speak to how do we stay encouraged? Because if Haiti ever needed us now and needed Haitian women, it's at this exact moment. So if you could speak directly to how do we stay engaged, how do we stay motivated, and how do we stay encouraged? Because Haiti will rise again, and we will be there for it.
So thank you so much for that question. I actually brought this with me today because I was feeling super discouraged. We're trying to get our containers in, we're trying to meet demands. We have a bunch of new retailers that, we've been working on for the past year and a half to convince them that Haiti is it. This is, what you focus on. And then you start to hear the news, we're talking to investors, and it's like, what do you say at this point? If we're gonna be honest, sometimes it's like, I'm something fatigued. But then, you know, we're preparing for the holidays, and is Cindy Lou here? I don't know if she's here or not. But we started talking, and I asked her, I wanted to have artisan bags made for the holidays. And I'm ordering, and you know, we've had different experiences working with partners, and I said, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get this. And then yesterday it came via DHL with the beautiful bag with the women in it, with the Kreyol essence sign on it. And that gave me lots of hope, and all of a sudden I was re-energized again. Because I was like, she found some way for me to get this in Miami. I'm gonna find a way to get the containers there. We're gonna close deals. And I think we have to hold on to each other and look at small things that are happening to keep us encouraged. So buy your Kreyol Essence products, invest in different mechanisms like Ayiti Trust, work with Fonkoze, and I think we're going to be able to withstand the challenges. And I mean, Magali is here. Yeah. So, I mean, anyone who should be discouraged, Magali comme si kunya bon kunya. Magali va faire business, li va faire bayo marché. And so that's the inspiration that we need to encourage each other.
So also, Fonkoze continues to work on the grounds in Haiti, all over the country, with blockage of streets. But we still continue. We're not stopping just because there's a road blockage. We're going to continue because these women they need their loans, they need their microcredit, they need to meet with their case managers. We continue to go, and we are open for business.
All right.
I think that one of the things that we can do is when you see the news coverage, particularly here, it perpetuates what I think is a one-dimensional perspective about Haiti. And what Leonie was talking about in helping to understand these men and women who are taking to the streets and why they are taking to the streets, it is important for each and every one of us to share that with others, whether it's our family members, whether it is those who are not Haitian, to help them understand. Because in other countries, they would call this a revolution, right? And when it comes to Haiti, c'est des
right. Yeah.
We have to also, as we like to say at the Haitian Roundtable, be the keepers of the legacy to make sure that we are telling truths. Absolutely. I went to Haiti for the first time in 2017. Transformational experience. Nothing like bathing in the waters of Haiti for the first time. And I love rice and beans. And there's nothing like eating national. I was like, that's the best thing I've ever had. But we must continue to address the one-dimensional perspectives in the way that our own community talks about Haiti and how others portray us in the media. We need to write op-eds. We need to really tell the story of what's happening on the ground.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rose. And thank you to each of you for everything that you said. This is everything I need right now. I have a question for Yve-Car, and if you have an answer to the question, jump in. As you were building this empire, how did you choose your team? How did you nurture your team? And how, see, there are others again. They're like, all that, and how did you continue to grow your team to not just sustain the business, but to grow the mission and nurture the mission of your organization?
Yes, that's a beautiful question. I know we're in a tight time frame, so I'm gonna just give a short response, and then we can always talk offline. I would say it's an excellent question, and it's one that as an entrepreneur, I have to keep asking myself each time we go to a different level, right? So that I'm not even done with that process yet. But I will say that at first, I really went by skill sets and what is it that the company needed, and who are the folks who can into the things that I didn't know. So I think the first thing as an entrepreneur is to be honest with yourself about the things you don't know. We don't have to have superwomen complexes. We don't have to feel like we have to answer everything, which I had to struggle with. And I remember being at the Cornell Business Incubator, when I looked at my male counterparts, who are primarily white males, it was just me and Stefan as the folks of color, you're not getting complex, okay? They are real good at putting a team together and sitting back. Whereas our culture, as females, as Haitians, says we've got to do it all, we've got to know it all, and we've got to run it all. So it's something that as we grow, I get better about what I don't know, what I'm not great at, and understanding my core competencies, and then also trying to learn and figure out other people's core competencies. And then I cannot emphasize enough the need to have core, advisors. Okay, the folks that you can go to, the aunties, the uncles. Johnny Celestin is love him. I don't know how many of you all know Johnny, but he's like my hiring ninja. Okay, whenever I need to, get a pulse, having folks who you can go to and say, can you talk to this person? Can you interview them as well? Can you be my blind spot? That's going to help a lot. And I have a group of Haitian women as well. There's Jean Théodat, Gelmana Ochelin, Fabienne, like all my cohort. These are folks that I trust, that I also bring them into what we're doing, so I'm not working in a vacuum.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, first of all, let me thank everybody, every single person who contributed to making this happen today. I am super grateful and thankful for you. My name is Cozy Joseph. I run the Gaskov Clerget Foundation. We established that organization 20 years ago in memory of my late brother, who actually lived here in DC. And our three pillars are health, education, and sports. Recently, 3 years ago, we actually built a modern medical center with very limited resources, and now we are functioning in Haiti as a medical health center. Last August, when I visited, we were already at 11,000 patients for the year. Now, over the past couple of years, I will tell you that I feel very overwhelmed every time I visit. And when I go to the pediatric clinic and I see 13, 14, 16-year-old kids, girls, who need to see a doctor with multiple kids. And what I do every time I feel overwhelmed, dis, Jésus, qu'est-ce que ça me va faire avec problème ça? Parce que je me sens overwhelmed, bah ça trop pour moi, je ne peux pas gérer. So I asked for guidance, and God led me to a very wise lady in Florida who told me, Cozy, this is a classic problem. Why don't you find a way to empower these girls? Because right now it's probably too late for you to put them in school. Empower them, teach them something, and then fund an initiative for them to do business. So my question is to Marguerite and to Guerda from Fonkoze and from the Haiti Initiative Fund. How can we help these girls? They could be our daughters, our granddaughters, and they're being raped and having multiple kids, a 13-year-old, 12. So how can we put something in place to rehabilitate these kids so that they can get back to society and earn a living and become thriving people just like us? Because it could have been me, it could have been any of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very quickly, I'll tell you, thank you so much for sharing that, and I think it resonated a lot with many of us here. For my psychology side of what I do, we have an organization called Rebâti Santé Mentale. Rebâti Santé Mentale has been working with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health and Country for many years, focusing on exactly that. I know we're doing some work with Didi Farmer, who has a whole the girls initiative as well in terms of summer camps and so forth. And clearly, of course, Zami La Santé, let me just keep saying that Zami La Santé is in country, and the ability to partner with them around mental health and addressing mental health of girls is important. We don't have to do this alone, really, which is our message today. But in addition to that, in terms of the Haiti Community Trust piece, we have got to be able to have organizations in commune that we can support. What are the organizations that have after-school program, that has homework program, that have these programs that we could support that will allow for those girls to have a space, right, to be able to do so that they don't have to go very far in terms of really addressing some of the issues that are going on in countries. So our focus is about building that intrinsic community piece, the intrinsic of communities, and supporting those organizations to be able to do work that will absolutely have a huge impact on girls, but also everyone as well. The other thing I want to say very quickly before you go, we have 578 communes in Haiti. That's an important element for us to understand. Sometimes we think of Haiti as one place. Like, we don't think about the department, the arrondissement, the communes that exist in Haiti. The feeling of overwhelmingness is about that largeness of it. But if you think about the commune level, these are the ones that are not making it in the news, right, for the most part. I think that is where our hope is.
Yeah. So we have a partner in Zami La Santé, and Zami La Santé does have a mental health component that really can help young adults and teenagers. Fonkoze does not have a program for the youth yet, but don't take that into, we might. So I'm going to talk to you after this, so that I can connect you with our people in DC.
All right, so we have 5 minutes. So I'm going to do here. So questions quick and responses quick, so we can get all of these questions in. Ma'am.
Well, I'm Dr. Sarita Duchatelier, and I was born in Port-au-Prince, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, East New York. I'm a child of uneducated Haitian parents. All of my entire family, OBGYN, peds neurologist, that's what I do, pediatric. You know, I remembered hearing the exodus of professionals. We have lawyers, doctors, therapists here. My question to you is, how do we come back? How do we come back to give back? Because this is why I'm here. Now that we're all Cornell grad, educated, I have Harvard, you know, we have all the titles, but now how do we come back? And I have, you know, Medical Haitian Association, I've run various companies myself. How do we come back? You know, it does feel overwhelming.
So what's overwhelming
how do we do this?
Is that you really want to go back for a long period of time. You
A
don't
purpose.
have to. You can go for a week, you can go for a month, you can go for 2 weeks. You don't have to go there for a year.
No, I meant how do we come back mentally, physically, to give back? I have 3 sons, entrepreneurs, bankers. I have all of these 3 sons who didn't go into medicine. I mentor a lot of children who want to go into medical school. I teach them the resources. I tell them exactly what to put on their resume. I do their essays. But how do we come back to really give back? How do we do that? Yes, I know. But how do we do that? Because it does feel overwhelming, and I have groups of people who want to come back. How do we do that?
So if we can answer that very quickly. Thank you. Yeah. Marguerite, I know
Groups of people.
Yes.
We have mission trips for Fonkoze. Okay, go ahead. You can go and visit. You can. It depends of your level of wanting to come back. It all depends on what you really want to do. Look at us. Look at Pedre. Look at all of us. We're here for you. So you can reach out to us.
Okay, thank you.
A group, the bigger picture. Well, then the bigger picture, you're already there. If you want to, that's a question that we all can answer. I don't have the answer. My answer is that my individual self is doing something for Haiti, and that's where I am.
Okay.
So
I'm going to let Guerda weigh in on this.
Let me just, I love your question so much, right? And I love your question so much because that is exactly why we're here for this weekend. We cannot leave here without being able to answer that question for all of us today, which is really is important. And so I don't want to negate that at all. And I don't believe that the answer to that is how do you take a trip. I don't believe that the answer to that is how do you have take a missionary group to Haiti. Right? The reality for us, if we think about Ayiti, and if we think of Ayiti as a woman, every song that we talk about, you hear, it's Ayiti chérie, Ayiti garçon, non? So Ayiti, c'est une femme liée. Nous clair de ça, son femme n'a pas parlé d'une femme. Ça veut dire que nous-mêmes là, comme femmes, nous connaissons qui gens pour nous régler, à fait pas nous. Si nous voulons vraiment penser que qui gens nous ca totalement intégrés en Haïti, c'est pas seulement de parler de lui. Nous avons une stratégie qui est bien formée pour nous dire que nous connaissons qui gens pour nous régler affaire caille nous comme femmes.
Merci.
Future en Haiti, the World Bank tells us there are 3.2 million of us living outside of the country, right? It is time for us to come together in a very meaningful, strategic way, right? And that requires thoughtful, critical planning. That's not a let's get on a plane and go. That requires a strategic process for us to be able to do it in a way that's going to be sustainable, that's going to be meaningful, that's going to be beyond you.
That's what I want. Merci beaucoup. Merci, merci.
Yeah.
Ladies.
1 second, Karen. We're going to take that question and we're going to take this one, and then you guys answer collectively. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much, ladies, for everything that you have done today and everything that you have explained to us, and I'm more than happy about being here. My name is Pascal Armand, Yankified Pascal Armand, and I'm an actor. Been on Broadway with Lupita Nyong'o. I was in Eclipsed on Broadway. I was the only Haitian on that stage. Everybody else had a foothold in Africa, but I was the only one from the Caribbean representing Haiti. Right now, I'm working on a solo piece. The name of the show is Shithole Country Clapback.
Okay, ladies, okay.
And
we gotta get through the questions.
And I am very interested in changing the perspective in our art, in the journalism, in the writing that is out there about Haiti. I'm sick and tired of hearing about how the one moniker that we have, or the one phrase that supposedly describes Haiti, is that we're the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. We are more than that. Being that the person who currently occupies the United States presidency doesn't know anything about that, doesn't know anything about much of anything, what he doesn't know is that we have dealt with worse from the beginning to the present, and we're still here, we're still going. So what I am asking all the women here is, in helping me write my piece, is when you heard January 11th, 2018, President Dum Dum say what he said, how did you feel? Like, how did that hit you? And if there were any situations that you had to, like, the next day when you went to work, was it like, did you have to come back and hear what other people were saying about Ayiti Chérie and what they were saying about you and your community, your culture, your heritage? And let me know. My email address is...
so this is a full commercial. Okay, hold on. Sis. Okay, so I support this, okay? So I'm not trying to shut you down, but this was supposed to be a question for the panel, but please say your email address, and please talk with her at length after this during lunch and engage, because we like what this is, but we got to wrap up. So email address is almapascal1@gmail.com. Thank you very much. You go, girl. All right.
One right here.
Last question, and we will continue the conversation over lunch, right? We can't get it all done right now, but last question for now. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. I think one of the big things that's really to the Haitian Ladies Network is how do we make it into multiple networks? The lady spoke before about adolescence. This is a concern that a lot of us have. At our facilities, we're seeing that 15% of the pregnant women are adolescents. Many of those pregnancies are not by choice. And so we're also seeing 10% of the patients in our program have mental health issues. So with these different concerns that we have, economic, education, multiple concerns, how can Haitian Ladies Network make these become where we're able to focus together and then work across these different sectors. Because if you have the concern, you're not by yourself. Many of us have these concerns. How can we pool our resources and talk and actually network and work together? So how can we get to that point where it's not just talking, but
It's not a question for these ladies, that's a question for the steering committee, and we're gonna have a Q&A with the steering committee later today, so let's take that up then. Does that work?
yeah, that would work.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna turn it back over to Rosemonde to close out the panel, but were they not amazing? Engaging with Haiti panel. Yeah, that's right, you love on your sisters, yes! Love on your sisters, yes. Do you feel the love, ladies?
Feel the love, indeed. Thank you again, Haitian Ladies Network, for the opportunity to participate in this discussion and serve as moderator, and looking forward to the rest of the afternoon. I would be remiss not to acknowledge my sisters. All the women from the board of directors of the Haitian Roundtable are here today, so I just want to acknowledge them, that they're here. We're rolling very deep this weekend, so yes, Daphne, Midwin Charles, who you see on MSNBC.
And ladies,
CNN.
stand ladies so we can see you.
Hey!
Thank you for coming from New York.
Dina. Very, very deep. And we love Karen, and she's one of our 1804 list inductees. So we love her, and she's chairing our event this year. But to Guerda, Yve-Car, Marguerite, my heart is full. I'm so proud of you guys and what you're doing. I'm so proud of everyone in this audience for your thoughtful questions. And once again, we will continue, we will persist as women, because that's the only thing we know how to do.
Amen.
So thank you so much, and looking forward to the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.